Class is now in session. Welcome to the history and evolution of my lifeblood, my heart's greatest passion, my way, my truth, and my light, ChonkyFrog.
Chonky.
Firstly, we gotta start with a proper definition. We have to have some basis to our educational aim for this course. So we ask the fundamental question, what is ChonkyFrog?
Chonky.
Well, being small, bulbous, and here to remind you that life is good, ChonkyFrog is a divine manifestation of inspiration itself. And it has taken the form of Grumpy Rainfrog, both singular and plural simultaneously. The purpose of this class is threefold. Firstly, its purpose is to give you a full and complete knowledge of ChonkyFrog's coming into being, if you will. We have documentation as early as 700 BC, so I'm going to be passing along to you to the best of my knowledge of what has been found. The second purpose of this video is to officially put into records the true source of ChonkyFrog, because anytime I share anything of art and creations onto the internet that I pull from the deep recesses of my heart with my own two bare hands, there's always someone out there who copies it, who steals it, who sells it as their own, because apparently it's normal these days to be a diabolical lunatic. So let this here video be the official time and date proof of ChonkyFrog's true source. I repeat myself for emphasis. Leave ChonkyFrog alone to exist independently in the world beyond your thievy grasp. Thank you. And the third purpose of this class is that ChonkyFrog makes me so happy and I just want to share it with you. Okay, class. The following lessons are part of the full course curriculum of the history and evolution of ChonkyFrog. Let us begin. Lesson 1. Conception. Late last August, in the passing humdrum of summer's end, I was recommended a viral reptilian-natured animal video on YouTube. As per my algorithm's usual suggestion, kind of like having an algorithm with viral cat videos, mine just happens to be more catered toward, like, I don't know, cute lizards and stuff. Anyway, I saw a viral video about potatoes, which were actually frogs. Rain frogs, to be exact. And unbeknownst to me at this point in time, these things, rain frogs, actually exist. These are physical, tangible things that exist in the natural world. So upon discovery of God's finest creation, let me just reference my notes real quick. Breviceps adspersus. I instantly felt as though I was being initiated into a greater way of life. The Jasmine who existed pre-Rainfrog Enlightenment is no more. She has completely dissolved and has been reborn once again with the sole purpose of bringing ChonkyFrogs into this life. I create to serve. Lesson 2. Birth. So gripped as I was by this new way of life, I knew that I had to do the thing that I do best. I had to manifest my hyper-specific obsession into an art form. And I present to you the first official ChonkyFrog sketches. They're like fetuses. There isn't any individual development yet, because they are simply just the mimicry of what exists in life itself. These are the processing of inspiration itself. Breviceps absurperps. Portraiture, one could say. This one has a party hat. It's festive. ChonkyFrog has been born. Lesson 3. Youth. The childhood of ChonkyFrog moves onward, playful and youthful in the curiosity of life's early development, and it moves into the sketchbook. Toddler age here, and clearly so. A clunky manifestation, not yet sophisticated, rough around the edges. In the fine art world, we typically refer to this in its most objective way possible as the ugly phase. But alas, such is to be expected from one who has not yet lived life. This chunk is made with gouache. Clearly not my strong suit, but let's move on. Shall we be paintings? ChonkyFrog pondered. What type of paint shall we be? Should we be sculptural? And if so, what would we look like in three-dimensional space from all angles? So here we have ChonkyFrog beginning to take form from all angles. Lesson 4, teenage years. The time of social experimentation, of rebellion into unadvisable phases, but ultimately with the purpose of fulfilling oneself one's own self in the place of the social world. So, back to the sketchbook. Oops. So all seems to be going well. ChonkyFrog has made it through into elementary school, still having that childlike curiosity and lack of rigidity about oneself, clearly. And so we advance into middle school, becoming ever so slightly more sophisticated in formation of character and socialization, advancing well with good grades, getting along well with other frogs in the class. However, like any pubescent young adult in the world, we begin to experiment with finding out who we are. And ChonkyFrog is no different. ChonkyFrog is all of us. So here we see a very common, often one of the first phases of teenage assimilation, social mimicry. As ChonkyFrog was becoming one's own in the social world, in school, in extracurricular activities, it was time to start making friends. So ChonkyFrog, in being surrounded by the social environment of other tiny paintings, ChonkyFrog became one with the crowd, as an impossibly tiny painting. Very small. However, because ChonkyFrog does have a sense of individual depth, began to ask himself some questions. Am I really meant to be a miniature hyper-realistic painting, like all of those around me? It does appear to be the social culture in which I am enmeshed with. But is that really who I am? Good questions, Chonk. So it was becoming clear that things were starting to nag upon ChonkyFrog's conscience. And so ChonkyFrog thought, I'm more than this, but I don't know how yet. I must break away. I must rebel. Things started going downhill from there. Oh God. This is felt to ChonkyFrog. Clearly, Chonk was experiencing some trouble at home and getting mixed in with the wrong crowd. We don't really want to touch on it that much. However, the essence of ChonkyFrog did remain true, even during those darker times. Chonk eventually begins to see the light. Some hope is then restored into Chonk's perspective of things. With great contemplation, Chonk decides to drop the act, to let the rebellious show go. However, Chonk did recognize that there was some truth in the motivations of that rebellious, darker phase of life. Three-dimensional motivations were at the heart of the matter. Perhaps that was true, even though the current experimental forms were false. Things began looking up, and Chonk accepted the desire toward maturity and comes to terms with the glorious fact that one's life is one's own. Chonk settles into adulthood. The official prototypes of the sculptural ChonkyFrogs. From dream to reality. ChonkyFrog, sculptural desk friend, complete with its butt and the official artist signature stamp of approval. And then we have micro ChonkyFrog sculpture, also bootylicious in its own right. They're living their best life in full maturity, in sophisticated socialization with the world, without neglecting their true passions in life, following them wholeheartedly, finding the community that is right for them, sharing mutual values, yet all unique in their own individuality and cooperation with each other. It really is a lovely thing to see. May we all live a little bit more like ChonkyFrog. All right, moving on. Lesson 6, Ascension. So after some time of reveling in the authority of adulthood, one often comes to the realization that it is time to acknowledge that although we have crafted a true life of order for ourselves, our inner child comes knocking on the door and says, hey, Chonk, you're doing great for yourself. You're living your dream life. However, what is it that truly brings you joy? Is it just this life? This objective life of external success and social notoriety, career? Is that really it for you? Or is there something deep inside of you that truly brings passion and joy to your life? The voice of your inner child, the things that you loved when you were young and free. Is there a possibility of making that manifest alongside your ordered adult life? ChonkyFrog leaves society for a little bit, joins a commune for some point in time, but then eventually comes to the realization that solitude is needed to further understand what is calling to Chonk's spirit. And then Chunk comes back to life with the enlightenment that life truly is heaven here on earth, if only we can allow our inner child to live alongside and within us in our mature, functional adult life. Intertwined with the wisdom gained of life's experiences, of paths charted in the unknown. What a beautiful thing it is to witness. ChonkyFrog returns home to one's own heart and ascends into paintings once again alongside the sculptural works. It is here where ChonkyFrog becomes one with the universe, in seamless singularity between design, between paintings, and sculptural works. ChonkyFrog has become a force beyond my comprehension. I do not have the capacity to verbally communicate the essence that is ChonkyFrog at this point in time. However, I, myself, have given it all away. Everything. I've let it all go. I have given it all away to devote every fiber of my being toward a life of these frogs.
Chonky.
Where will ChonkyFrog go in this newfound era of existence? I can't know for sure, but sources say that they plan to multiply and start a blog. Okay, surprise, pop quiz. Question 1. What is ChonkyFrog's official scientific name? 3, 2, 1. Breviceps abicerps. Did you get it correct? Good. Congratulations. Question number 2. What is ChonkyFrog's most anatomically correct and endearing quality? Is it the yawns? Is it the booty? Is it the fact that it isn't really actually a frog? Is it the dumpling-like quality of appearance? If you chose any one of these answers, you are correct. Good. Congratulations. Question number 3, final question, most important question of all. Do you love ChonkyFrog? 3, 2, 1. If you answered yes, good, congratulations. If you answered no, you failed the class. I'm sorry, come back next semester. Thank you all for your undivided attention, respect, and dedication to learning about the history and evolution of ChonkyFrog.
Chonky.
You have completed this course and are one step closer to graduation and success in your life. Thank you. Class is dismissed.